good? What's going on?
Same old, same old. How's everything going? I know the Jets, the season's pretty much over. I remember I told you about it after the Denver game. I said, yeah, that's probably going to be the game that really determines the season, and it's looking that way right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, what was that game? 4 or 5, or what were they? 2-1 at the time? I don't remember. I
Yeah,
forget. I
I,
think.
I think it was game 4.
Yeah, so they were 2-1 and they lost, and then a couple of weeks later they lost to the Pats, or the next week they lost. It was a disaster. What a disaster!
Oh, it's been a disaster season, and I think now we have to look at it because it's the question is, well, is Rodgers going to be here next year? Then there's been the promise made to Devontae Adams, supposedly that which was in the trade clause, basically saying that yeah, Aaron Rodgers is going to be here next year as well. Do you think that they clean house?
I think they clean house with the coaching staff
Hmm.
um, and GM, but I did just right before I called you. I saw the headlines in the Post that Rodgers, I guess, he talked to the media today, and all indications are that he's coming back. So I'm not thrilled with it. I'd like to move on. I like to pretend he never came here. But and you know how I felt about it from day one. I thought this is how it was going to turn out. I wish I was wrong. But the one thing with him coming back, and I've been a proponent of getting Rex back because Woody Johnson needs Rex Ryan more than Leon Hess needed Bill Parcells.
Hmm.
Because the state of this franchise right now is the worst it's ever been. Worse than they were when they were 1-15 with Coach Ike. And I think the only person besides a guy like Jim Harbaugh, I think Bill Belichick, firstly, would never work for the Jets, and I don't think he could undertake something like this. You need a complete massive culture change. And you need the type of personality like a Rex Ryan. Does he have his coaching flaws? Yes. Being out of it all these years, he might have learned from some of his mistakes. But I think you bring him back and he'll rejuvenate that building. And regardless of what type of team they field next year, it'll be competitive and they'll play hard. And I think he'll get the most out of whatever talent they keep.
Hmm. And it needs to be offensive driven because I remember when he was here, it was always the defense, but we had a decent offense when he was here. This was an offense that went back to back in AFC championships there. Mark Sanchez played well. He had some key pieces in there, but it's just now it's the franchise is a total disaster and Woody Johnson's up in the air. I know the fans are calling for him to sell the team. Do you ever realistically think he's going to sell the
No,
team?
no,
Yeah.
no, no, don't be ridiculous.
It's unbelievable. It's been such misery for Jet fans for so many years now, and it's just every year I feel as though we say this is the worst year. This is the worst year. It just keeps getting worse.
And it does, but I think the reason I feel the way I do right now about the team is because of the expectations. I mean, even myself, I thought they're 10-11 to win the division this year. And then I was totally wrong on that. But with that said, how do you bring in a future Hall of Fame quarterback that, yeah, he is on the other side of the curve. I get it. But Zach Wilson has a better record last year than Aaron Rodgers has right now. I mean, they were better with Zach Wilson than they are with Aaron Rodgers.
They were. It's unbelievable. And how about all the downgrades from a lot of these players on the roster this year? Sauce Gardner, what happened to him?
Well, I always thought he was overrated, to be honest with you. Good cover guy. I think one-on-one, he could get beat easily downfield. I always felt he was not a strong tackler and he wasn't a physical guy. And the defensive line, Joe Douglas, just as all these years he mishandled the offensive line, now he took his turn and he mishandled the defensive line.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hassan Reddick hasn't done anything.
Oh no! Please come on. What a joke! What a joke that turned out to be. Him. One thing that epitomizes this season is on one play last week when Adams went out for pass and he did an in cut, and Rodgers threw an out cut pass. These two guys played forever together.
Yeah.
And a simple route to run and throw a ball like that, and they're not on the same page, something is drastically wrong in that building.
It definitely is. They needed a whole new coaching overhaul. I mean, do you think it really stems back to when Rodgers didn't show up for camp this year? Do you think that kind of started things to where they're at now, chemistry wise?
Nah. I think people are grasping at straws,
Yeah.
looking to create a story. I don't. I don't really think it. Well, let's put it this way, and you know how we spoke. I felt Salah ran a very soft camp,
Mm-hmm.
and I think his OTAs were pretty much the same as his two. Basically, it was two mini camp practices, and basically there were just two more OTAs. There was no difference. So I don't really think that was a big deal. And I'll tell you one thing though, watching him at training camp this summer and watching him play football this season, like two different people.
Yeah.
He was energized. He was energized. He was a leader on the field during practice, talking to offensive players, to defensive players, smiling, running around, looking great. And as soon as it kicked off in San Francisco, that whole personality went out the window.
It did. It almost felt in that game. I said, yeah, this is going to be the theme. This is really going to set the tone for the season, and it ended up being that way. And I didn't want it to be. And we get that. We didn't expect them to go in there and defeat San Francisco, but just the way that they played, where they came out flat and the defense just got manhandled in that game. You had no expectations really, but we took it game by game, and they won a couple in the beginning, and then it's just been a disaster ever since. In the Texan game, I know all the fans got the hope up again. They're like, "Oh, now we're going to run the table. Garrett Wilson has catch of the year." I couldn't take it seriously. Really, after that Pittsburgh game, I said, yeah, this season's finished. It really is.
Yeah, I felt it after they lost to Denver and the Pats, but you're right. After the Pittsburgh game, that put you closed the door on it. But with that said, I wasn't buying into it, but I would have liked to see them beat Arizona and beat the Colts just to have a little fun. Yeah. Not saying that they were going to make the playoffs, but at least you're going, you spend good money, you want to see meaningful football. Now, basically, and I know mathematically they're still not out of it yet,
Crazy.
But basically I'm just looking right now at 7 preseason games.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is at this point. It's we're already planning to move on next year. I know the draft talk is going to be starting soon, and I don't even know where you go with who you draft this year. I don't know. I think we really got to focus on a coach. That's what really needs to happen here. We got to get.
Well, listen, I could be wrong. It's my opinion. I think Rex Ryan is his job already. That's how I feel.
Wow.
I know he's been talking about it. It's definitely out there that he wants it. And I think it's him. I mean, look at it this way: you bring in Aaron, Glenn, Ben Johnson. This is just me personally, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm not talking for the fan base or for the team or anything else. I don't want a first-year head coach. Don't want it.
No.
I've done it. It's never worked out. I don't want a hot coordinator. Okay, so I want somebody that's done it before. So you have only a handful of people. Mike Vrabel, all right, it wouldn't be bad. I don't think he could deal with Rodgers. Belichick is never coaching for the Jets.
No.
All right? And the only guy that could come in here and deal with Rodgers and create a culture is Rex Ryan. Mm-hmm. And I think Woody knows it. And I think you might even see a Rex Ryan, Mike Tannenbaum combo.
Wow. Yeah, because that's when we had the great success when those two were together, and then they broke them up, brought Idzik in here, and we know the disaster that it's been. Ever since, if you think about it, ever since the Rex Ryan days, it's been a disaster. I mean, Rex Ryan's last year was really a terrible season, but I mean, after that, they haven't had much success. The Todd Bowles year was just, I really don't count that year, but it really hasn't had any sustained winning since Rex Ryan, those 2 years.
Right, and the last year with Rex, it's very unfair to judge him as a coach because Idzik was looking to sabotage him anyway. Mm-hmm. So I don't even count 013. And, 014, I'm sorry. 013, he went 8-8 with Geno Smith, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's, I can't put that last year with the Jets with Rex because I think, like I said, Idzik had it in for him. and they didn't see eye to eye, and that was another bad decision that the Jets made. I think you got to dial it back. Both guys. Rex has been out of the head coaching position for a while, and I think probably would approach things differently. And I think the same could be said for Tannenbaum. And I think he's probably a better football man now because he's been so heavily involved with the media, and he's still very hooked in with the league. And I think he would jump at the opportunity. And why not? Well, I mean, what are you going to go get some 35-year-old personnel director off another team to come in here, and you're going to tell him, okay, Rex Ryan is your head coach, or go hire a coach and they bring in some special teams coach from Tennessee Titans or something.
Oh.
I mean, I don't want it. I want somebody that's done it, been here, knows the New York market, knows what it takes to win in New York, knows how to deal with Woody Johnson. And I think these two men would be perfect.
Mm-hmm. And Rex Ryan has unfinished business, in my opinion, because he deserved one of those Super Bowls out of the two. He deserved one.
Yes, he would come back with a major chip on his shoulder.
Yeah,
he would.
He would. He'll do it.
And like I said, I think he's probably one of the few guys that Aaron Rodgers wouldn't be running the organization with Rex Ryan as the head coach. You bring in Ben Johnson. What's Ben Johnson going to tell Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers will be running the show again.
Yeah, he's running it now, and it's a complete flop. And Ulbrich. Now, do you think Ulbrich? He's not going to be on this team next year?
No. I think this is a complete sweep. I think they're all gone. Yeah. Everybody.
Douglas,
and even Brand Boyer.
Okay.
I think he's gone. They've had 11 kickers since Joe Douglas is here. And oh, by the way, if you count Ulbrich as a head coach, well, he is. All right. Once they hire somebody next year, hopefully it's Rex. In the last 7 years, that'll be their fifth head coach.
Unbelievable.
That's probably. I've asked a couple of people, and because I don't have the time to do the research, I asked a couple of people. They didn't know the answer. I would have to say that's pretty safe to say that that's probably a record.
Yeah. 5
coaches in 7 seasons. Yeah, that's got to be right up there.
Yeah, it's definitely egregious, and it's been way too many coaches, and they have to find someone with stability, and I think Rex Ryan would bring that. And I know there's a lot of Jet fans out there. Well, you can't go backwards, but hey, I mean, I don't know really how you can't. Who are you going to get that's going to do better? There really isn't. I mean, I think Rex Ryan is probably the best man for the job. How do you feel about Pete Carroll?
I think he's past his prime.
Mm-hmm.
Too much. I as a coach, yeah, but as a personnel guy, maybe. But he don't have what it takes. I mean, somebody's got to come in there and basically they got to fumigate the building.
Yeah.
And that I mean, you're talking business people, sales people, football people who, it's a very, very big undertaking. And but Rex, he has that that type of personality, and I think he has that type of power where he could do something like that. I mean, he would probably be horrified. I don't know when he was in the building last, but the fact that Salah redid everything in there, and from everything I've heard, I haven't been in there since COVID, but from everything I've heard, he took back down basically everything from the past, like Curtis Martin, name it, all that stuff. From what I hear, that's all gone.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's not good.
No, it's not. Yeah, Rex Ryan should be the guy to come back here, and we knew the season was up in the air once they got rid of Salah, because when you think about it, how are you gonna win a Super Bowl or even go to the playoffs this deep with so much contention and just all this chaos going around in the coaching room?
No, and how about the fact that last week they said that they focused on tackling, and then they went out there and missed 20 tackles.
Yeah, I know. Unbelievable. I don't know what to say anymore. I mean, when you look at it, and were you shocked by the Devontae Adams trade? Because I remember when we talked last, because we talked about it, we said it really wasn't going to do much.
I was on the fence with it. the only reason I thought it could happen was because of Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Woody I don't think Joe Douglas was involved in any of this. I think Woody went in there and he said, get the Adams in here and get Reddick on board, in-house.
Yeah.
I think Woody, we all know Woody fired the head coach. And I think he told Douglas, get these two people on the team.
Mm-hmm. He's definitely got to get more involved and because Douglas, he's late. He's been moving late. Like we said, we talked about the offensive line. It took him a while to really get things going there, and he messed up the defensive line now. I mean, how do you feel about Mike Williams, the trade in the Steelers, and he catches the game-winning touchdown? How about that?
Well, as soon as he caught that ball, I knew the Jets had no chance to beat the Cards.
Yeah.
I knew it right there and then. That's the way it goes for the Jets.
Yeah.
It's really, and I was on the fence with the game. I thought the Cards would win a close game. I never expected what I watched. And I'll tell you, this is the first time I haven't rewatched a game since when Rex got blown out up in New England, like 45-3.
Oh.
When they were both like about 9-2, they were playing for first place.
Mm-hmm.
I never rewatched that game, and that's probably about 14, 15 years ago. And this is the next one I haven't rewatched because there was nothing to watch.
Yeah. How do you feel about this upcoming game against the Colts? I know they're going to be playing against Anthony Richardson.
Well, I would have to say the Jets will probably win the game. Probably Rodgers will go out there, play well. I don't know too much about the Colts. The only thing, if they can't control Taylor, the Colts might have a shot to win.
Yeah, I agree. And Breece Hall, I remember we talked about it again the last couple times. You're really seeing it now with putting on those extra pounds there and the muscle weight. He's not the same anymore.
Nope. You get him in space with the ball, he makes plays, but he doesn't take it to the house anymore.
Nope. It's been a disappointing season, and now it's already, well, let's look for the trajectory to next year. And I will say this: the only thing that you can be excited about is if they really go out and get Rex Ryan, because then you'd expect a massive change.
Yeah, like I said, nothing against any of the other people that are out there. Like Aaron Glenn's a good football man. I don't know much about Ben Johnson. All I know, one thing, is that I watched him, I think a couple of weeks ago, in the Green Bay game, and they were winning big, and it was pouring, raining, sleeting, and the game's pretty much in the bag, and he called like a double reverse, and I'm saying, well, what is this guy doing? People are having a hard time holding on to the ball. And as soon as I saw that, I said, no chance do I want this guy as my head coach.
No. And how about Zerline? Were you fed up with him missing all those kicks? Ugh.
Well, I think I gave you heads up when he missed those 2 preseason kicks against the Giants. I said, something's not right with this guy. I don't know if he was hurt. I thought the other guy actually had a better training camp, but I know they invested money in Zerline, so they weren't going to cut him and keep the other guy. And probably that's what they should have done because I think he's leading the league in kicking percentage right now. But even if Zerline made those kicks and instead of 3-7, we were 6-4, it would be good. It would be fun, but it would be fool's gold.
It would
because it would be covering up a lot of warts for this team. I mean, if you really break it down by position group, the offensive line is still an issue.
Mm-hmm.
The defensive line is a real problem. Their linebackers are so-so. Their safeties are horrible. So they have decent skill position players on defense, like the corners and the receivers and running backs. And the rest of the team, honestly, there's not one, except for maybe Garrett Wilson, the other 52 players, you could get rid of all of them. I couldn't care less.
It is.
Oh, no, I'm
bad.
sorry. Give me Quincy. I'll take Quincy Williams. Add Quincy Williams to that list.
It is bad.
I'll keep Quincy Williams and I'll keep Garrett Wilson, and the other 51 you could get rid of.
Mm-hmm. And you know who would come in? I'm telling you, Rex Ryan would come in there, straighten that defense right out, and then you got Tannenbaum in there.
Right out of the bat. If you brought Rex in right now, they come out of the bye, they'll give up 10 points.
Yeah. That's why they need him back. And they should have really brought him in here after they got rid of Salah. I know we talked about that. They would probably put Ulbrich in as the head coach. They should have just brought him in immediately.
Probably so. Probably so. And, I know a lot of fans out there, they don't want him. I get it. I understand it. But, in my humble opinion, I just think it's a no-brainer.
I think so too, especially when you look at all the other candidates and just I don't know who really could rejuvenate this franchise more.
That's right. That's because I know you read the same articles I did. How they said that the same old Jets engulfed Aaron Rodgers and turned him into what he is.
Yeah.
A young coach or first, they're not going to change that stigma that hangs over that franchise.
No. Nope.
But a guy like Rex, his type of personality can.
I completely agree. I hope they get it done. I hope Woody Johnson, he really gets out there and starts making this move to happen, because they need to get it done as soon as the openings really happen. As soon as it starts.
If I was Woody Johnson, I'd have it done already, because, you've heard Rex on his media shows.
Mm-hmm.
He's begging for the job.
He is.
And Woody just pick up the phones and done. That's it. To tell me who your offensive coordinator is going to be, and that's it.
Yeah.
Do what you have to do. Get your staff ready. And, right after the Dolphin game, a week later, we'll clean out, and then you come in, get your office back.
Yeah. That would be nice.
What are the hope? Do you see? Now, once again, if you feel different, that's fine. But what other hope? Who else is going to bring the type of hope that he might bring?
I don't see anyone else that could. And like we said, Bill Belichick isn't coming here. It's not happening. Pete Carroll, it's iffy. Mike Vrabel, it'd be nice, but I think, like you said, Aaron Rodgers would still be running the show. And I think Rex Ryan is the guy when you really look at it.
Yep. And like I said, if Jim Harbaugh was out there, okay, I'd be good with either one.
Mm-hmm.
But if I remember years ago, I don't remember which coaching search it was, but I think, I don't know if Harbaugh was on vacation, or I think Harbaugh, or maybe he was around, and maybe Woody Johnson was on vacation. He didn't want to call him, and Harbaugh was waiting for a call. I forgot how it went, but he's the only other guy that, wherever he's gone, look what he's done.
Yeah.
He did it. He's done it with it. Basically, what he did with the Chargers, I think Rex Ryan could do with the Jets. That was a team with a whole bunch of talent and a really good young quarterback. We have an old, diminishing quarterback that still could show flashes. And I think if the right guy comes in here, it could be a quick turnaround.
Yeah. The thing about Rodgers that also bothers me too, and they don't let him do. They don't even really have him throw deep anymore. You know how many times you would see Rodgers throw deep with the pass? We had the Hail Mary there. That was nice. But besides that, they don't really let Rodgers throw deep.
Well, I think I've been listening to Bart Scott a lot. I think he explains it pretty well. He's not seeing the field the way he used to see it. The system, Rex has said it. Bart Scott, who I love listening to because he really talks X's and O's. And this system that Aaron Rodgers likes, it's outdated. It's a 20-year-old system that was good 20 years ago. But, defensive coaches have caught on to it. And you're not surprising anybody. Nobody in motion and, all this other type of stuff that all these high-powered offenses are doing. Look at the Detroit Lions offense compared to the Jets.
Oh,
You're talking like about a 50-year difference.
It is, yeah. It's night and day. It really is just night and day.
It really is, and if you look down the road, let's say they happen to beat the Colts this week. After that, okay, are they beating Seattle? Maybe. They're not winning in Miami.
No.
Okay. they they probably could beat Jacksonville. They're not going to beat the Rams. They're not going to beat the Bills. And then who knows where their mindset is when the Dolphins finish off in New York, the last game of the year. So what are you looking at? 2 or 3 more wins at best?
Probably, yeah.
So give them 3. So 6-11. Oh, nobody in this world could have ever seen this coming.
No, nope. We all didn't. We thought it would be a competitive season. It's just it hasn't been that way. It's been unwatchable and a true disappointment.
And how about the fact that on November 15th, they want their money for next year's tickets?
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that. Already the advertisements is calling for that already. That's a joke.
Oh, I've gotten about 10 emails already from them. It's unbelievable.
Oh.
And I know a lot of people, that have been there for a long time. A lot of people are giving up their tickets. They've had it.
I don't blame them. It's been years of disappointment and it's just, I don't know what to say anymore. It's just when you have Aaron Rodgers and you can't win with him and you have a great talent, supposedly all this talent on the roster. When you look at it on paper, it looks like the Jets are the best team in the league on paper. But when you see it on the field, they're the worst. I
know. Well, the only thing, now if Rodgers is speaking the truth today and he's back, the sad part about that is, once again, I'm going to get stuck with a whole bunch of night games early on in the season before something goes wrong.
Yeah. Could you imagine? And they're going to put us back on primetime next year, especially if we get Rex Ryan in here.
Rex and Aaron Rodgers will probably have 15 night games.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be a nightmare. Well, I'm hoping that things would be different because of the culture change that Rex Ryan will bring, but I don't know. I just think it's time to move on from Rodgers at this point. I'm
with you. I'm really with you, but I don't think the Jets for $49 million are moving on when the guy came out and basically said he's coming back to that.
Yeah, I don't see it either. But I will tell you this, Rex Ryan does have his old quarterback as a backup on the roster with Tyrod Taylor when he was on the Bills. He does have him.
I mean, personally, I would really prefer to just be a competitive team next year. Let Taylor start, draft a quarterback wherever it might be, and let them sit and learn.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what it'll have to come to.
But I don't think it'll go that way, but I think that's what I would prefer.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think you're right, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. The season's pretty much just a wash at this point, unfortunately, and we'll just have to keep updated on the news and see what happens if there's any, maybe if Rex Ryan comes in here earlier or if there's any other news, but I think that's pretty much what we're waiting for.
Well, let's hope that they make the right decision and get the right guy in here to lead this franchise and get this out of this mess that we're in right now. Because I think don't you feel like you're in quicksand?
Pretty much, yeah.
You can't get out of it. No matter how much you churn, you can't get your head above water.
Yeah, and it's been that way since Rex's last season. It's really been like that. I mean, if you really want to get crazy, it's been that way since the Jets won the Super Bowl back in '68. There, if you think about it, '69.
They had some really years where you just want to scratch your head. It's one step forward, 5 steps back. 1 step forward, 10 steps back. It's so what's it going to be now? 14 years that we haven't made the playoffs.
Yeah. Yep. Unbelievable.
It's hard to believe.
It's the longest playoff drought in all 4 major league sports.
It's sad. It's really sad, and it'll be interesting to see how many people show up for the game this week.
Yeah, it's going to be.
It's a 1:00 game. It looks like the weather should be a decent day. Yeah, maybe they'll get 50,000, 45,000. There's no way in the world that they'll get to fill up that building. I don't see it.
No, it's not worth it anymore. It's not worth it for this season. Otherwise, it's just the writing's been on the wall. It's been there since the Denver game. I remember when I told you and you agreed with me. That's just a game that if you're looking to really compete, you don't lose a game like that. And once they did that,
and you know what? I can't even. You can, but I can't even pin it on Zerline. I'm not making excuses. To me, he should have made the kick. But the team shouldn't have put him in that position. There was no reason to score 9 points and be struggling against the Denver Broncos at that stage of the year.
Yeah, no excuses. Yeah. Nope.
If the game was in Denver and it just traveled, I would somewhat not accept it, but it would make more sense. But at home, because it was raining, come on, stop. Give me a break.
Yeah. It's been terrible, but I'm hoping things change, and we'll have to just stay updated, like I said. And yeah, it's been frustrating, and hopefully things change, and we get the right guy in here. And Ira, is there anything else you want to talk about here that we didn't cover today?
No, I think we covered pretty much about everything. I appreciate you having me.
Of course.
I guess we'll talk at the end of the season.
Yeah, we'll talk again soon, Ira. All right?
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Anytime, Ira. It's always a great time.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, Ira. Take care. Bye-bye.